You nod. You smile. You say, yes, I agree. And everything flows. But sometimes, even agreeing with someone can feel awkward. You wonder, am I saying it the right way? Does it sound natural? Should I say more than just yes? And the moment slips past, leaving you quiet. That's why today, we're going to practice how to agree clearly and naturally in English. Not just to sound fluent, but to sound warm, connected, and confident. Let's start with the simplest way to agree. You can say, yes, I agree, or absolutely, or even just, right. But these words are only the beginning. In real conversation, we want our English to sound human. So we add tone, emotion, a little extra. Let's practice some full sentences. You can say, I totally agree with you on that. You're absolutely right. That makes a lot of sense to me. I feel the same way. I've been thinking that too. Now repeat them with me, one by one. I totally agree with you on that. You're absolutely right. That makes a lot of sense to me. I feel the same way. I've been thinking that too. Notice the rhythm? It's soft, not rushed, not robotic. Real English feels like real connection. Now imagine a conversation about something simple. Someone says, I think walking is the best form of exercise. You might say, I agree, it's good for the body and the mind. Or, yes, and it's easy to do every day. Or even, exactly, I walk every morning for that reason. You're not just saying yes. You're building the moment. You're showing that you're present. Let's keep practicing. Now say, that's so true. You nailed it. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes. I've always thought that too. Again, slowly with me. That's so true. You nailed it. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes. I've always thought that too. These phrases show emotion. They're simple, but they make people feel heard. Now let's imagine a conversation in a group. Someone makes a point. You want to support them, but maybe you feel shy. You can say, I like what you said earlier about, I wanted to add to what she just said, I think he made a great point just now. I'd like to echo that, it really resonated with me. Just to support what was already said, try those now. I like what you said earlier about. I wanted to add to what she just said. I think he made a great point just now. I'd like to echo that, it really resonated with me. Just to support what was already said. In groups, these are powerful. Because they show respect. They lift the conversation. Now imagine you agree with someone, but you want to make the agreement feel personal. You can say, I've felt that way for a long time. You put into words what I've been feeling. That's exactly how I experience it, too. I didn't know how to say it, but yes, that's it. You explained it better than I ever could. These phrases build connection. They're not just about facts. They're about feelings. Try them slowly. I've felt that way for a long time. You put into words what I've been feeling. That's exactly how I experience it, too. I didn't know how to say it, but yes, that's it. You explained it better than I ever could. Agreement isn't always about logic. Sometimes, it's about being seen. Let's take a breath. Now imagine someone says something kind or thoughtful. They say, I believe everyone deserves to be treated with respect. You can agree with, yes, I believe that too. That's such a beautiful way to see it. I respect that deeply. Exactly. We need more of that thinking. Thank you for saying that, I feel the same. These responses don't just show agreement. They show emotion, empathy, appreciation. Repeat them softly. Yes, I believe that too. That's such a beautiful way to see it. I respect that deeply. Exactly. We need more of that thinking. Thank you for saying that, I feel the same. Now let's practice when you're in a more casual setting. A friend says something you agree with, but you don't want to sound too formal. Try, true. Yep, for sure. Same here. Totally. Right? These are lighter. And they match the mood. Say them slowly. True. Yep, for sure. Same here. Totally. Right? You're still agreeing, but in a relaxed way. Let's now talk about body language. In English conversations, agreement isn't just spoken. It's shown in small ways, nodding, smiling, leaning forward slightly, saying while listening, keeping eye contact. All of this helps people feel you're with them even before you speak. And when you do speak, it just confirms the connection that's already there. Let's now imagine you agree with part of what someone said, but not all. This is more advanced, but very real. You might say, I agree with most of what you said. That makes a lot of sense. And I'd add this, I'm with you on that part, but I see the next piece a little differently. I think your main point is spot on. I'd just frame one thing another way. You raised some really strong points, I'm mostly in agreement. These phrases show maturity. You're agreeing honestly, but also thinking critically. Let's repeat them together. I agree with most of what you said. That makes a lot of sense, and I'd add this. I'm with you on that part, but I see the next piece a little differently. I think your main point is spot on. I'd just frame one thing another way. You raised some really strong points, I'm mostly in agreement. This is how English helps you stay real while staying kind. Now let's go back to your everyday life. Think about moments when you agreed with someone silently. You didn't speak, but you nodded, smiled, maybe thought to yourself, exactly. Let's bring that agreement into words next time. Because speaking your agreement, softly, clearly, sincerely, isn't just about English. It's about showing up. Showing that you're there. That you're paying attention. That their voice matters to you. And when you do that, people will remember. They won't just say, you speak English well. They'll say, you make me feel heard. And that is fluency. We'll continue next with how to disagree gently, respectfully, and confidently. But for now, take this small lesson with you. You already know how to agree. Now you're learning how to say it with grace, with heart, and with English that feels like you. Disagreeing in English can feel like walking on a tightrope. You have something to say, something honest. You don't fully agree. You see it differently. But a voice inside whispers, what if I sound rude? What if they get offended? What if my English makes it worse? And so, you stay silent. Or, you speak too fast. Too directly. And the moment becomes tense. That's why this part is so important. Because fluency isn't just about saying what you mean, it's about how you say it. So today, we'll practice the art of disagreeing gently. Of standing your ground without pushing someone else down. Of being kind, clear, and true to your voice. Let's start softly. Imagine someone says something you disagree with. You pause. You breathe. And instead of saying no, that's wrong, you say, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. Or, that's interesting, I've always thought about it a little differently. Or, I respect your view, though I'm not sure I agree completely. Now try those with me. I see your point, but I have a different perspective. That's interesting, I've always thought about it a little differently. I respect your view, though I'm not sure I agree completely. Do you feel the difference? You're not attacking. You're opening space. Now let's try more simple ways to disagree without sounding harsh. You can say, I understand what you mean, but I think I can see where you're coming from. Although, that's one way to see it, here's another angle. I hear that, but my experience has been a little different. I guess I'd look at it another way. Try them now. I understand what you mean, but I think I can see where you're coming from, although that's one way to see it, here's another angle. I hear that, but my experience has been a little different. I guess I'd look at it another way. These phrases are soft bridges. They connect your disagreement to their view without breaking it. Now imagine someone makes a bold statement. Maybe they say, working from home is always less productive. You don't agree. You might say, I've had the opposite experience. Actually, working from home helps me focus. Or, that's interesting. For me, remote work has been really effective. Or even, some people feel that way, but I've found the opposite to be true. Notice how these phrases still sound kind? Let's repeat. I've had the opposite experience. Actually, working from home helps me focus. That's interesting. For me, remote work has been really effective. Some people feel that way, but I've found the opposite to be true. You're not starting a fight. You're offering a new view with calm. Now let's try a few very short, polite ways to disagree. Try, I'm not sure I agree. I see it differently. I have another thought on that. I've always thought the opposite. I can't say I fully agree with that. Repeat softly. I'm not sure I agree. I see it differently. I have another thought on that. I've always thought the opposite. I can't say I fully agree with that. simple, honest, respectful. Now imagine a situation where the topic is personal, and your disagreement could feel sensitive. Maybe someone says, "I think success is just about money." You feel uncomfortable, but you want to speak kindly. Try, "I hear that, but I think success can also be about meaning or purpose. I've met people with little money who feel deeply successful in other ways. That's one view. For me, success includes relationships, peace, and fulfillment." Say them now. "I hear that, but I think success can also be about meaning or purpose. I've met people with little money who feel deeply successful in other ways. That's one view. For me, success includes relationships, peace, and fulfillment." When disagreement is personal, the words matter even more. Now let's try another useful tool, asking questions to express disagreement without being direct. You can say, "Do you think it could also be this way? What about the people who see it differently? Could it be possible that both views are valid? Have you ever looked at it from this angle? I wonder how that fits with what we talked about earlier." These questions keep the conversation open. Repeat them now. "Do you think it could also be this way? What about the people who see it differently? Could it be possible that both views are valid? Have you ever looked at it from this angle? I wonder how that fits with what we talked about earlier." This isn't just English. This is emotional fluency. Let's now imagine a situation where you disagree with someone you respect, a teacher, a boss, or an elder. You want to be honest, but also humble. Try, "I hope it's okay if I share a different thought. May I offer a slightly different view? With respect, I see it another way. I'm still learning, but I've come to a different conclusion. I mean this respectfully, but I do have a different take." Say them slowly. "I hope it's okay if I share a different thought. May I offer a slightly different view? With respect, I see it another way. I'm still learning, but I've come to a different conclusion. I mean this respectfully, but I do have a different take." This shows maturity. You're not silent, but you're not aggressive. Let's take a moment now to talk about tone. Because disagreement isn't just about what you say. It's how you say it. Slow down. Speak gently. Breathe between thoughts. Keep your voice soft. Use words like maybe, perhaps, and I feel to soften certainty. Try these now. Maybe that's just me. Perhaps it depends on the situation. I could be wrong, but I feel this way. It might just be my experience. That's just my perspective, though. Repeat. Maybe that's just me. Perhaps it depends on the situation. I could be wrong, but I feel this way. It might just be my experience. That's just my perspective, though. These phrases show humility, not weakness. Now let's say the conversation is getting tense. You feel the disagreement is growing. You can de-escalate with phrases like, "Let's not turn this into a debate, we just see it differently. I think we can agree to disagree on this one. I value your view, even if I don't share it. I think we're both being honest, and that matters more. We don't have to convince each other, just understand." Say them now. Let's not turn this into a debate, we just see it differently. I think we can agree to disagree on this one. I value your view, even if I don't share it. I think we're both being honest, and that matters more. We don't have to convince each other, just understand. This is grace in English. This is disagreement without disconnection. Let's end this part with a final reflection. Say, I don't have to agree with everyone to stay kind. My voice matters even when it's different. I can disagree without hurting the conversation. I'm allowed to say what I feel, softly. Fluency means speaking truth with heart. You've just practiced one of the most powerful English skills. Disagreeing with kindness. We'll continue next with how to express uncertainty, mixed opinions, and emotional honesty when you're not fully sure what you think yet. But for now, let this settle. Because in a world of noise, your quiet, respectful no is a powerful form of connection. Sometimes, you don't fully agree, but you also don't fully disagree. You hear someone's opinion and part of you nods, while another part hesitates. Your mind is still processing. Your thoughts are not settled. And in that moment, you wonder, what do I say now? How do I express myself without sounding confused or awkward? It's okay to feel uncertain. In fact, it's normal. Real conversations are full of gray areas. People change their minds. People sit in between. People say, I'm not sure yet. And the beautiful thing about English is, it allows you to say those things gently and clearly. Let's begin with the simplest way to express uncertainty. You can say, I'm not sure. Or, that's a tough one. Or even, I haven't really thought about that before. These short phrases show that you're present, but still thinking. They give you space. They buy you time. And they show honesty. Now let's build on that with more natural responses. Try saying, that's an interesting point, I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about it. Or, I kind of see both sides, to be honest. Or, I'm not sure I have a strong opinion on that yet. These kinds of phrases make space for your uncertainty without making you sound unsure of yourself. They show emotional fluency. Imagine someone says, I think people should always speak their mind, no matter what. You might agree, a little. But you also believe in kindness and timing. Instead of saying yes or no, you could say, I agree with the idea of honesty, but I think how we say things really matters too. Or, that's a good point. I think it depends on the situation. Or even, I get where you're coming from, but I'm a little torn about that one. You see? You're allowed to live in the middle. You're allowed to hold more than one feeling. English has space for that. Let's now practice softening our thoughts. You don't always need to speak with total certainty. Sometimes, adding a softener makes your voice sound more open and less rigid. Try phrases like, I think maybe, or it could be that, or perhaps I'm wrong, but, or I wonder if. These small words change the feeling of your sentence. They make you sound thoughtful, not unsure. So instead of saying, that's wrong, you might say, I wonder if there's another way to look at it. Instead of, I disagree, try, I think I see it a little differently, but I'm not completely sure yet. These small shifts make a big difference. They keep the door open. Now imagine you're asked for your opinion on something big, maybe politics, religion, or personal values. But you don't feel comfortable sharing everything. That's okay. You don't owe the world your full opinion all the time. You can say, I have some thoughts on that, but I'm still working them out. Or, that's something I'm still learning about, I don't want to speak too soon. Or simply, I prefer to listen on this one, if that's okay. Those are powerful responses. They show boundaries. They show self-awareness. And most importantly, they show that you're fluent in more than just vocabulary, you're fluent in self-respect. Now let's talk about expressing mixed opinions. Maybe someone says, online learning is better than in-person classes. You might agree with parts of that, but not all. So you say, there are definitely some benefits to online learning, but I still think in-person classes offer something special. Or, it's a mix for me. I like the flexibility of online, but I miss the human connection in real classrooms. Or even, that's a hard one, I feel pulled both ways. This is what real conversation sounds like. It's not a debate. It's not a speech. It's two people being honest, curious, and respectful. Now let's try some gentle phrases that show openness when you're not sure what to say. You can say, I'd love to hear more about what you think, or, that's something I want to understand better. Or even, can you help me see it from your side? These questions don't just fill silence, they build bridges. They invite others in. They show that you're not afraid of not knowing. And remember, not knowing is not weakness. It's humility. It's learning. It's growth. Now let's imagine a moment where you're asked to give your thoughts, and your mind is totally blank. That happens too. You freeze. You can't find the words. Instead of panicking, just say, I need a moment to gather my thoughts. Or, that caught me off guard, let me think for a second. Or even, I'm not sure how to say this in English, but I'll try. These phrases are not just language, they are lifelines. They help you stay calm. They give your brain time to breathe. Let's now practice ending a conversation when you're unsure, but still want to be respectful. Try saying, I'll think more about that, thanks for sharing your view. Or, that gave me a lot to consider. Or, you've given me something to reflect on. These are kind exits. They don't shut the door, they just leave space. Let's take a breath here. Because sometimes, the most powerful English is the quietest. The kind that says, I'm listening. The kind that says, I'm thinking. The kind that says, I'm still learning. And that's what makes you fluent, not your grammar, but your grace. Let's now say a few quiet affirmations together. Say, it's okay to not have all the answers. I can speak with softness and still be strong. My voice is allowed to be in progress. I don't have to choose sides to be clear. I'm learning how to be honest and kind at the same time. You've just practiced something most people never learn, how to be in between. How to speak without certainty. How to be fluent in the middle ground. And when you learn that, conversations become softer. People listen more. And English becomes not just a skill, but a reflection of who you are. In our next and final part, we'll explore how to express emotion, empathy, and appreciation in moments of agreement or disagreement. Because when your heart speaks in English, the world listens differently. There's something even more powerful than saying I agree or I don't agree. It's being able to say, I understand you. Because deep down, people don't always need you to share their view. They just want to feel seen. They want to know their voice was heard, their experience was felt, and their words mattered even for a moment. That's what emotional fluency gives you. The ability to make someone feel respected, even when you don't share the same opinion. The ability to express kindness, even when you're speaking about something difficult. And the ability to leave a conversation better than you found it. So today, we'll practice how to express empathy, appreciation, and soft emotional responses in English that is real, simple, and deeply human. Let's begin with something gentle. Imagine someone shares their opinion with you. Maybe they tell you about a hard decision, or a story, or a belief that's important to them. You might not agree, but you want to show that you understand. You can say, that must have been hard for you. Or, thanks for sharing that, it means a lot. Or even, I didn't know that. I'm really glad you told me. These aren't about right or wrong. They're about being present. Now imagine someone says something personal, and you want to comfort them. You can say, I may not fully understand, but I'm here with you. Or, I appreciate you trusting me with that. Or, that gives me a lot to think about, thank you. Let's go a little deeper. Sometimes in English, you can add emotion without raising your voice. Just a few soft words can carry a lot of feeling. Try saying, I hear you. I feel that. That touches something in me. That's powerful. That made me stop and think. These are not big phrases, but they go straight to the heart. Now imagine you're in a disagreement, and it's starting to feel tense. Instead of pushing harder, you can step back emotionally with grace. Say something like, I can tell this matters to you. Or, even though we see it differently, I respect your passion. Or, I really value your honesty, even if I don't agree with everything. These phrases lower the temperature. They invite connection. Let's try more responses that show emotional maturity. If someone shares a story that surprises you or changes your mind, you might say, wow, that shifted my thinking. Or, I hadn't seen it that way before. Or, that really opened my perspective. If someone tells you something that goes against your views, but you still want to stay kind, you can say, thank you for helping me see where you're coming from. Or, it's helpful to hear another side, even if it's different from mine. Or simply, I'm learning from this. When you say things like that, the conversation becomes a space for growth, not just exchange. Let's talk now about small emotional responses, those little reactions that make your English feel alive. Things like, oh, I didn't expect that. That's really interesting. That caught me off guard, in a good way. That's such a thoughtful way to put it. I need to sit with that for a while. These are real. Human. They let people feel the energy of your listening. Now imagine a conversation that's ending. You've agreed on some things. You've disagreed on others, but you want to leave with warmth. Try saying, I've really appreciated this conversation. Thanks for letting me speak honestly. I learned something today about you and about myself. I hope we can talk like this again. Even when we don't agree, I always value our conversations. This is how people remember you. Not just what you said, but how you made them feel. Let's now practice speaking emotionally without sounding too intense or dramatic. You can say, this conversation meant more to me than I expected. I didn't think I'd feel so connected today. You've given me something that will stay with me. I think I'll remember this talk for a while. I'm grateful for your openness. All of these are soft doors. They leave things open. They let people walk away feeling full, not hurt. Now let's talk about when you feel emotional during a conversation, nervous, touched, unsure, or even a little embarrassed. You can say, I feel a bit nervous saying this, but this is hard for me to express, but I'll try. I hope this makes sense. I'm still finding the words. My English might not be perfect, but this is honest. I'm saying this from the heart, even if it's a little messy. When you speak like this, people don't hear mistakes. They hear courage. They hear you. Let's end with a moment of reflection. Say these sentences with me, slowly. I don't need perfect words to be real. I can agree, disagree, and feel deeply, all in English. I am learning how to speak gently, honestly, and with care. My voice matters, even when it's soft. This language is not just for speaking, it's for connecting. You've now completed a journey that most learners skip. You've practiced how to agree with heart, how to disagree with kindness, how to be unsure and stay calm, and how to speak with emotion, not just information. This is the kind of English that changes your life. Because when your words are honest, gentle, and true, people don't just listen to your English. They listen to you. Let this lesson stay with you. Not just the vocabulary, but the feeling. And the next time you're in a conversation, whether it's soft or difficult, joyful or awkward, remember, you have the tools. You have the voice. You have the right to speak. Slowly. Simply. And exactly as you are.